So Marla and I are going to speak to a job shadow that we did at UPS. Our program is industrial maintenance, and I'm just going to kind of go through some best practices, and I'm going to blow through this. I wanted to give you a feel of actually what went on that day. I know that wasn't any of your bullet points, but I still want to do that because I think it was important. But really, I think what's really important for us and what makes our partnership so successful is we meet monthly. I know there's a quarterly deal, or there's supposed to be a semi-annual deal where you're supposed to get with your partners, but we actually get together on a monthly basis. And what we do is, I've got several managers that I take with me, and I've got one of our mechanics that's part of our team. And we'll go over to Valley and we'll sit with Marla, we'll sit with Principal, or Acting Principal Gossett right now, and then she'll also bring in counselors, Coach Spiva, the different folks that are involved in the program. And then we really talk about what is the curriculum going to look like for the next month. And then what are ways as a business partner that we can get involved with that curriculum. So that's really how this got started. And so some of the stuff we look at is guest lectures. So in October, to kind of start all this off, we actually sent some of our engineers in to teach classes with Marla's group. And it kind of started with the safety talks and that type of stuff. And then we go on to other things like, what are some other things that we can do? So how this started was Marla was like, I really want to do something with our seniors. I want to get them over there. So we kind of started thinking, okay, what are we going to do with these seniors? What can we do with them to make this just a valuable experience? So honestly, on our drive back from Valley, that's how all this kind of started and our planning process started. So what you see is just kind of just a real rough, we were like, what do we really want to get out of this for these kids? We want to talk about safety. We want to get them hands-on opportunities. With these kids especially, if any of you guys have mechanics in your work group, everything is about hands-on learning. It's not about book learning or anything else. So we wanted to make it as much about hands-on as we could. We wanted to give them real-world scenarios. We knew we were on a tight time schedule, so we wanted to get them as many opportunities to learn as we could. And then the most important thing for us is we wanted our mechanics to be teaching these kids. We didn't want to be teaching them as a management team. And I think that was really one of the key things to the success of this. And of course, we wanted to give out some trinkets and do some different things like that. And then kind of our structure that you can kind of see there is we basically laid out, we've got 4 of our management folks. We took a group of students with us, and then we had 5 stations where we had mechanics, and each one of the mechanics went through different things. So these are just some different things from the day. So this was when they came through the guard shack. The group of seniors, Coach Spiva in there, and then down in the front row were all of our leaders that we had on the group. And then what we did is we tried to take them almost through a typical day through a UPS mechanic. So we started what we call our first part of our day as our pre-work communication meeting, and we did that with them. We also handed out, we gave every one of the students a tool bag. We thought they could use that down the road. We gave them mechanic gloves and hearing protection, all the important things that you need. And then these are just some of the different locations. The most important thing I wanted you to get out of these pictures really was the fact that the mechanics are the ones that are instructing these kids, and that's really where the kids got it, was from the mechanics. Right here, this one I wanted to touch on here, this mechanic speaking right here, he actually got his thumb, top of his thumb cut off in a conveyor accident. So we really hit on that with these kids about how important safety was in the job. And he was really passionate, and you can see how the kids are just basically hanging on every word he's saying. Just some additional training that we did, and what was really neat is we tried to make sure, back over the summer, we put a conveyor system in Valley High School, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but we tried to get every piece of equipment that's in that conveyor system as part of this deal, this hands-on day with these kids, so they actually could touch it, and then when they go back to their school, they kind of know what's about with that conveyor system. And of course, we had to feed them lunch, and there was a whole planning process to make sure we got the right amount of lunch, and we put them in our staff conference room just to kind of make them feel important, make it feel like it was a special day for them. And then did some electrical training with them as well. Took them through our procurement department, and just really to show them, we've got $15 million worth of inventory, 8,000 different individual parts in there, just different things to just kind of show them what's out there, what are the different things that they can get involved with. And then really just the feedback, and I'm going to turn it over to Marla at this point to kind of talk about that.
Yes, Krista does a great job, as you can tell. We work real well together. It's just an advantage to have someone who knows what they're doing with your kids in your building and knows what's going on in your building as well to build this program. Our kids got great feedback from this opportunity. All of them that went had something positive to say. One in particular, I'm going to share his success story. He's a 5-year senior at Valley High School. He had a rough start. 2 years as a freshman, a home life that wasn't really working out for him very well, just for whatever reasons, and now lives with someone else, another student's mom takes care of him. And he has decided, last year prior to this event, he scored a very low ACT score. And after this job shadow, he decided he knows what he wants to do. You cannot budge him from his goal. He knows he wants to go through college and back into work as a mechanic. And his ACT score is now an 18 composite, which will get him where he needs to be. And this would not have happened for not being this opportunity. So.
I'm Ashley Drager. I'm the Academy coach at J-Town High School. And I have a wonderful business partner with me this morning. I actually have two. Rodney's just not up here with us. Holly is one of the engineers at Ford that we work with really closely. Today we're going to talk to you a little bit about best practices for project-based learning for students. What you're going to see behind us isn't necessarily just the project that Holly and I are going to be discussing today, but a lot of projects that we have ongoing with Ford throughout the course of the school year. Because I think one thing with project-based learning that is most important as you go through the planning process is keeping it authentic and real for students. And that authenticity comes with things that may just pop up, and that's kind of what happened with the cup holder. So Holly, if you just want to start with kind of how that came to be.
Yeah, so I'm a product development engineer at Ford. I work at the Louisville assembly plant. But we have been heavily involved with JCPS, working with them on how to engage students, how to get them interested. So I came up with an idea to design the perfect cup holder. I figured it would be kind of easy. Everyone assumes it would be easy to design the perfect cup holder. It's actually very complicated. It's not possible. But that was the idea, and really the students, I think they really got into it because they really realized there's no way to design the perfect cup holder. Everyone has a favorite cup. Everyone has a different size. Everyone has different needs. So we gave them different opportunities, kind of choose which features they wanted. Do they want it to meet the people that want a deeper cup holder, the shallower cup holder, the Red Bull cup holder? So we gave them different options. I gave them kind of design constraints, just kind of leaving it open to what they wanted to do, but gave them direction. So we kind of working together with some of the CAD teachers, the other skills that are there, on how they could incorporate this project into just getting the students interested in design and working on a whole project.
Just from a planning process, Holly and her team of engineers, Rodney, myself, and my teachers have a monthly call. So the third Tuesday of every month at 2:30, we get on the phone with each other and kind of see what's going on. This last time we spoke, we were talking, we did the cup holder challenge last year. What are some things that are going on this year? And Holly said, people don't really like cargo space in, what was it, the Navigator?
Well, most vehicles. We were talking about cargo storage. So if you have an SUV, small SUV, one of the biggest complaints is, you want the size, you want everything removable so you can put, I don't know, a small couch, I don't know. But you also want the opportunity to, if you just have groceries, one bag of groceries, two bags of groceries, you want to organize stuff so that things don't roll around, but you have different spaces. So that was the idea on how to design that space so that different people can use it differently.
So as you're discussing with your academy coach or business partner or teachers, what's something we can do, we really start with what are some complaints that you're seeing in the field, and that's where the cup holder challenge and hopefully the cargo challenge will come from. From there, Holly did a great job, and I think if there's a slide on here that actually has the customer verbatims.
I think I put it up there.
Did we not? So Holly came to us with an actual list verbatim of what customers are giving them feedback on as far as what are their actual complaints with the cup holders. From there, I took those to our English teachers because they were really grammatically incorrect. Like the comma usage, y'all, is just terrible. So that was a great opportunity though for my English teachers to look at those and use those just as a warm-up activity in the English class to tie that back into what our engineering and CAD students are studying. From there, Mr. Stepp, my CAD teacher, sat down with Holly. He asked students to create a 2D and 3D rendering in AutoCAD Inventor of what their idea was. What I think made this really magical though is that Jason, my teacher, was speaking with Holly and Rodney one day on our conference call, and he said, it would really be cool if my kids could see some center consoles. Because really students just think, just move the cup holders. They don't realize it impacts everything underneath that console, right? And how much money that would cost a company. So Rodney's like, all right, cool. 2 days later, he shows up with 2 center consoles for our kids to completely deconstruct, get their hands on, really see it. And that is what makes it powerful, is that students say, oh, I would love to see it, and next thing we know, we have an engineer or a partner of ours coming in with what they need. Students then designed their cup holder. They created a PowerPoint presentation that then went into their student backpack, for those of you familiar with the digital backpack. And then Holly and her team came out and gave our students some authentic feedback on their projects. So not only did the students go through the process, but then they were able to present to an authentic audience of engineers and get feedback on that. So when you're looking at project-based learning and what that might be best, a best practice is truly make sure that it's authentic and make sure that you have a team to get students involved and provide feedback for them. Because the power comes from having somebody from business coming in and committing time to students, because then they see that they are valuable and they are important, and that's what the work is all about.
So I'm Crystal with Parallon, and this is actually our first year as a business partner with Moore High School. We're in the community pathway, and within the community pathway we have a business segment. So when you're talking to high school students about business, they don't know what it is. It's, everything, it's nothing. So to really kind of tell them and show them what business is, we started hosting field trips. Now we're a smaller company, we only have about 300 employees. 300 of those employees, 40% of that 300 work from home. So our space is quite small. There's over 90 students in the business? Yeah, so 90 students in the business pathway. That's a third of our workforce. So when we were trying to plan these field trips to get kids on site and kind of tell them, hey, this is everything business encompasses. It's from IT, it's, the project managers, your operations staff, your hourly workers. We had to divide it up into 6 sessions. So logistically, getting the kids on there, getting them set up, having a whole day planned, and kind of explaining to them their opportunities and making those connections. We kind of had to work together with the school to figure out, dates and how to get them there, what we're going to do with them when they get there. So every day starts with this breakfast. The business kids, a lot of times in that pathway, they're all other. So they don't have direction sometimes. Some of them come from fragile backgrounds. So we want to kind of show them opportunity. So we start with breakfast. We got to get them woken up and energized for the day. We take them on tours. During their tours, they get to meet everybody. Every manager that we have, every supervisor, the hourly workers that are on site, they get to go through training. They get to see how a business operates, everything from our regional vice president down to sometimes our cleaning staff. After they do that, they sit with the whatever segment we put them with, either IT or our collection staff or some of our customer service reps. And then they sit there for about an hour and a half, observe, talk with the kids, and then they come back for lunch. And during lunch, we have question and answer. So we really want to make sure that these kids are making the connection of what business is, where can you go, what's the career path. And because some of them come from those fragile backgrounds, we really want to be as honest as possible. Parallon's really good about second chances. We're also really good about understanding that people make mistakes, and some of these kids already have mistakes in their background. So we bring in people, everyone, from down to the cleaning staff, all the way up to the RVP sometimes, to talk about their backgrounds, answer questions from the kids, talk about how it's okay to make mistakes, how you can overcome that, how your failures determine your success. And we sell the company that way. We really want to make it impactful for the kids. We really want them to walk away with meaning. And so that was just our driving force, is because we want to show them their opportunity, show them what we can offer them and what other companies can offer them as far as benefits, opportunity, and really a career path. And that's how we got started, and that's where we're at now, and we're really excited.
You've hired your first student.
Yeah, we just hired our first student yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
When Kristen's group brought Parallon's name to us, I'd never heard of the company, so the first thing I had to do was research and find out who they were, because I had not a clue. And so we were a little bit kind of hesitant, because guess what? We weren't their first choice, and they were brought to us, so we were kind of like, how's this going to go together? But one of the first things we did, we sat down immediately and did that action plan, that all-important action plan, whether you're doing it monthly, weekly, semi-annually, annually, whatever works for you and the company partner you're working with. It's a key component. It's a driving force for you. And I try to do mine at least every fall and go over them, and sometimes they're tweaked throughout the year with different things that popped up, like their backpack and stuff like that. We've added things to it and stuff like that. because we try to pull our business partners in for the kids. That's been one really great thing. Not only have they set up this great, they came into the classroom first, by the way. They're starting the experience by guest lecturing to introduce themselves to the students, and then they arrange for these shadows. And now students are beginning to, they're gonna take like 6 co-op students for us that are in their pathway from the business administrative pathway students. So that hopefully these kids have a place to go and a place to continue on. Or if they're even juniors, they'll be able to stay in co-ops in their senior year through next year. And I do like this company because they're real. When I say real, and she talks about those second chance, you know, Moore is 85% free and reduced kids. They don't have a lot of things. And one of the great things when we were trying to come up with something was, if we break it down like this, we don't know how we're going to get these kids back and forth, blah, 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 blah. Transportation, as many of you know, is a major issue. They stepped up and provided our transportation. So that was a huge deal for Moore, because we didn't have to do the buses and the arrangements and all that kind of thing. So that they took care of all that for us, which was for a little company, first off the block, we were just overwhelmed by that. So the kids are liking it because they see it's real, they see the authenticity, there we go, of what they're doing there, and the connections, that the people there are real people just like them, because they do delve into their backgrounds. They do say, hey, you know, I did this and got a DUI or whatever they've done in the past, and kids realize that failure is not final. If you mess up once, it's not going to totally tear you down, that you can rebuild from there and become somebody, that don't let your failures define you, to learn from them and grow from them. And that's been a really positive force for these kids in this business administrative pathway, because they haven't known where to go or what direction to take with their business administrative pathway. So it's been advantageous for us, and we're continuing to develop our activities as we go along with this group. But they've helped advise us with, we're going to restructure our pathway a little bit next year to some more relevant pieces, and remove a course that's not as relevant, those kinds of things. And so that has been really key to us, that they've been there. They've worked with us on the backpack. They came set on backpack reviews for seniors. So these seniors learn how to speak to public that's not a classroom teacher. Some of they already know, they're comfortable with. They have, provided these in-class guest opportunities, and then now these shadow shifts, and now they're hiring in work-based learning. So we keep advancing it a little bit further. And even though they're a small company, they've just delved in feet first. And that's been very good for us this year for this particular pathway in our building. And we have a lot of pathways, so they're just one of our many partners that we've been able to work with on this kind of level. But they're one of our newer ones, and so I wanted to kind of highlight and focus them, because they've been very, very beneficial for Moore.
Hello, I'm Jim Watkins. I'm Chief Deposit Officer with Limestone Bank. What we do with Wagner High School is we provide a robust financial curriculum for all the freshman students there. So we go the third Friday of every month, and we cover a different topic. So we basically spend the entire hour of a class with all the students. We cover a topic. We leave behind worksheets so that the teachers can use that material over the next several weeks while we're not there to continue that education. And then we come back the following month and we present another topic, and everything we try to do is to continue to build off the knowledge. So we cover everything from basic bank accounts, how to write a check, what's the difference between debit cards and credit cards, how do you understand a paycheck and the taxes and 401ks that come out of there, budgeting, how do you understand your credit score and financing, and then how do you understand mobile banking, online banking, and then just general online safety. So we cover all that over the course of the year. How we got involved with this is I was working with Junior Achievement and Sharon Kitchen, and last spring we were actually at Wagner doing the personal success. So if you're not familiar with that, that's basically where we brought in volunteers from our bank for an entire week, and we covered self-branding, how do you prepare for an interview, how do you fill out an application, how do you, present yourself to someone to get the best possible job. And so that's how I met Chesney. And after that was done, we started talking, and I said, hey, if there's any chance for me to come over and talk about financial literacy and partner with you, that would be fantastic. And she said immediately, she was like, oh my gosh, that would be the best thing ever, because we have a lot of kids that really need this. My thing is always, money doesn't buy you happiness, but money can buy you a good night's sleep. Because a lot of kids, you think about it, where do you learn about finances? I was fortunate, my parents taught me. I had a bank account when I was 5 years old. But for a lot of kids, they don't have that. They don't learn it. It's really not anything you take in school at any point in time. You get that stuff through Junior Achievement, but that's not a continual piece. So we really wanted to find somebody to be a partner with, and Wagner has been a fantastic partner. And so we've continued this, and our goal is that as we progress through with these freshmen, is that we keep touching them all the way every single year until they graduate, so that they would get a full 4 years of financial education from us on varying topics as they go from freshmen up to an older age where they might start having a job and they might need a bank account. And we're also trying to have an opportunity in the spring to where all of the parents for these kids can come in and we can have a session for all of the parents so that they can understand what the kids are learning as well. So it's been a fantastic partnership, but a lot of that goes to Chesney and Wagner.
I'm Chesney West. I'm the academy coach at Wagner. What makes this partnership so special for us, I think, is the scale to which Limestone was willing to help us. They didn't necessarily say, hey, we just want to partner with this one pathway or this one academy. They last year helped us with an entire junior class. This year, an entire freshman class, and not just in one big setting. They send several employees out and they work individually with them in classrooms. So, and they're always looking for, what are your needs? What do the kids need the most? What can we help with? So we're so grateful for them, and these kids wouldn't be ready for these co-ops and internships without the personal success program or the financial literacy workshop. So we're super grateful and thankful.
Hi, my name is Joe Danger. I work for Heine Brothers Coffee. Like was just said, we developed a 5-week program where we had some hands-on cafe skills and also some like classroom talks where they learn different stuff about the finances behind a coffee shop, the operations, how we source it, our supply chain, and all that jazz. And it ended with a test day that we opened up our cafe at our headquarters, and the students ran it. We had folks come in from the surrounding community and from JCPS just to get a drink from them, which I believe all the proceeds went right back to you guys. So they got to use all these skills that they had learned over that 5 weeks. And this all started because we had a field trip where they came in, we talked about our business philosophy and how we try to make an impact on the local community, and we felt like we could do a little bit more. And what we really wanted to do was to give some like employable skills to some students so that they could take to a job interview or even just post high school. And it was actually a pretty easy thing for us to do because all we did was we took some parts of our current training program when we hire on new employees, and then also some of the training that we do with some of our managers. We broke it up, made it digestible for high school students, and then brought in a bunch of people from our office. So we spread the love, we spread the work, and we gave people opportunity within our own work, within our own workers to make an impact on the students.
Excuse me. I'm Rick Moyer from Western High School. I'm not used to using a microphone, sorry about that. First of all, I'd like to thank Heine Brothers because it was a great experience for those 5 students. And proof of the success is we are going to do another class this spring. The students that I took and the reasoning behind it was I took 2 seniors, 1 junior, and 2 sophomores. Western's Culinary Arts program has an in-house cafe with an espresso machine. So for self-serving purposes, I wanted the junior and the 2 sophomores to learn and be able to carry that on. Now, for the spring, we're going to be starting, I think, about the middle of February, late February, finish up before spring break. I'm going to take probably all seniors out to Heine Brothers, so that those students actually are coming out. They're ready for the workforce. If they'd like to apply to Heine Brothers, that would be, advantageous for all involved. So there is a little bit on our end of planning that way. Heine Brothers has also been active in our business administration students as well. Yesterday we took out a group of about 20 students, and they go through their business philosophy, which you can see the light turn on with a lot of the students as far as things that they discuss in class. They're seeing in the real world, fair trade, buying local, They get a quick tour of the warehouse and the facilities there. So it's a good experience. And then obviously the students love it because we go down to one of their shops on Main Street. And for most of the kids, a lot of the kids, it's a first coffee drink that they get. So Honey Brothers, it has been, and they like coming into our building. They like being with our students. It's been a great partnership, and I feel like this type of program, it kind of ties everything that we've seen up to this point today on the quick talks, as far as the students now actually have those skills. They have some type of certification. Yes, I'd like them to go to Honey Brothers and work, but at the same time, if they choose to go to a competitor, they at least have that in their back pocket and they've had that training.